Hi, everyone. Today, I just want to reflect on a conversation I had with a client yesterday. He's a Microsoft lead. He's got $550,000 worth of shares that he accumulated through the years. And we were just discussing the pros and cons of keeping his shares versus selling down to diversify in a tax effective kind of structure to save on tax on the short and long term. And he had this opinion or argument that Microsoft growth has been, great for the last 5 or 6 years, amazing returns. We can't really compete with that. And I was like, yes, it makes sense. I know what you're talking about. And then I spoke with him about two specific examples. One of them is actually Microsoft, and the other is Atlassian. And I wanted to share this with you to just remind you of how the market works, because we as human beings, we tend to forget easily. We tend to focus on the, dreams and aspirations and hopes. It's very hard to stick to a plan. So think about, sticking to a training plan or a healthy diet plan and all this sort of stuff. We as human beings, our brains are wired in a way that takes the easy way out and the shortcuts. So the easy way out to think about our future is, everything is going to be great. I'm holding a great company share, and this applies to Microsoft, Apple, Uber, and all of those clients I work with. So I will share with you now a couple of examples, just food for thought. Obviously not financial advice, just sharing my thoughts and on my opinion on it. So I'll start sharing my screen here. Just right, this one. So this is actually Microsoft share price, and I like to take you back a little bit in history, and then we'll go to the year 1999, 2000. This is where the share was trading at $55. So if you're relying on your Microsoft shares at the year 2000, that I personally have a personal story about someone who was relying on this and actually borrowed money against her property to buy more Microsoft shares at that time. So it is 55, and then next month or two, it is now down to 31. And this is kind of half of 50% of the value. Now, if you follow this chart, you'd see that Microsoft has been stagnant for more than 17 years, 16 years. So it took Microsoft shares 16 years to go back on track and then start the good story that everyone likes to share, right? So this is the good story that everyone likes to focus on. So they like to focus on this part of the story, 2016 or 2017 up until, today. So amazing story, it's the underdog, but you don't want to be retiring at that point where it's 55, right? Like right here, okay? And then it drops down to 31. This means your retirement is gone, your plans are gone. You're probably going to pick up a job in Bunnings or something to support yourself. So given also the dividend is very low for Microsoft, it's like less than 0.5%. So if you think about this chart, think about your future. Do you want to tie your future to decisions that are being taken in the boardroom, in Seattle or in Sydney CBD or whatever that is, and, by a group of people who may make mistakes, or you would like to, pull out what you have and pay some tax on it if need be, obviously with some smart structuring and stuff that I do with my clients, it's different and less, and, have control of your own kind of destiny. So I like to share this story just as a reminder, not to scare you off, but just to show you history. And if you don't look back enough, you won't go, forward enough. That's what I really believe in. I'll go to another example now, which is one of my clients who came to me with a question about, whether to hold or sell the shares. And obviously, as a financial advisor, I can't really put or make a decision on whether this is a good share or a bad share. It's not my cup of tea, if you like. I focus more on the strategy. If you find an advisor who's stock picking for you, more power to you. But I don't think they will be able to, focus on the strategy and focus on stock picking. It's not really what we're focusing on. We're focusing on the strategy, how to make things work, and we have an arsenal as advisors, as an advisor, focusing on tech professionals. I have an arsenal of strategies that works every time. It's boring sometimes, but it works, and that's what makes them really powerful. They work every time. Now let's go to other client who had their Atlassian shares. So Atlassian, obviously, since 2021 is on the downward trend. That's not our story. Our story today is the client who came in specifically at this point in time, having I think $1 million worth of shares in Atlassian, or $800,000, I'm not sure. So he had the shares. He was, at this point in time, we had the discussion, the pros and cons, etc. And he said, "Look, I'm scared." I said, "Look, I share the frustration with you. Let's put in a plan." So we started working on the confident choice system, the system that we use with our tech professionals to identify concentration risks and how to dilute these risks. And then what happened is that we basically started to sell strategically. We paid some tax, right? I have to be honest, we paid some tax. But what happened is actually that he saw that this kind of price time, right? And he saw that average 270 to 280. Today, the price is approximately 161. That's like a 50% drop. This guy is 51. Imagine if he had kept his shares with Atlassian. What we have done differently is we have utilized the sale proceeds to deploy investment properties. Actually, we used the money to reduce his tax on taxable income. He now have a passive income plan in place. So this is the power of diversification. This is the power of knowing what you're doing and the power of looking back to move forward. So again, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you what to do. The shares could be, go 2-3 times the company shares that you hold. But if this is the decision that you want to make, you're basically taking a bet on a roulette, right? Just be happy with it and be ready for whatever outcome it gets for you. If you have any questions, obviously you know how to reach me. You can send me an email, mo@mywealthchoice.com.au. You can listen to my podcast, Wealth Bites. I share a lot of insights about financial planning for tech professionals, and I'm really happy that I'm sharing this with you today. And thank you so much for spending time on my content. Thank you.